What are the best Fortnite binds for your controller in order to go pro? There are timestamps on this video so you guys can skip around depending on what buttons you have available on your controller. Remember, all the creative maps I have are down in the description, so go check those out and let's get right into it. The first controller we're going to be talking about today is the classic Xbox controller you can see right here. The first thing we're going to be doing is binding L stick to edit. This is going to be the same for most controllers, as L stick is the best edit button. For these binds, we're going to make sure we have confirm edit on release on and confirm reset on release on. So make sure you turn that on in the settings tab. You can see it right here. For this setup, you're going to bind your sprint/auto sprint button to right on the D-pad. This is going to allow you easy access from the thumbstick to the D-pad and allow you to sprint pretty easily. I would personally recommend keeping pickaxe, reload, switch mode and jump the same, as there are no paddles on this controller, but I would honestly suggest try learning claw. Claw makes it a lot easier to press these buttons and honestly makes you a lot faster for a player. For example, Bay plays on claw. We're going to go into our build controls and we're going to make sure we set that sprint auto sprint to the same one. We're going to keep these two the same, we're going to keep this the same, and we're going to make sure we set up crouch/slide on the build control, as this one doesn't set up automatically. We're going to go on to edit again on building, and we're going to keep these things the same. We're going to go on to edit controls. We're going to make sure these are unbound, but we're going to change our reset button from right joystick to right bumper. The bumper is pretty easy to access and allows you to reset really quickly, especially with edit on release and reset on release. We're going to bind our sprint/auto sprint again, and we're going to make sure the L stick is set to confirm. One more thing, folks, make sure this B button in the combat controls is set to just switch mode and not switch mode/edit. We want this switch mode to have one function only. And finally, the ability controls doesn't really matter, but I still decided to set up edit and all my other abilities plus the sprint bind we talked about. That is the default controller. Now let's see the PS4/PS5 controller. The PS4/PS5 controller actually has a couple of extra buttons, including this button here, which is the touchpad button and is one of the best buttons in the game because it allows you easy access and can be used for a lot of different things. These settings you're going to make sure you have confirm edit and reset on release on, and we're going to start with map bound to right on the D-pad. The map doesn't necessarily need to be really easily accessible, so I put it over here, as that means we can use our other buttons for better things. I want you guys to use L stick for edit, as this is the best edit button, and when paired with edit and reset on release, it is the best, trust me. We're going to go as touchpad for switch mode, as it's a really easy button to press and allows you to switch mode and instantly start building. And finally, we've bound sprint to circle along the side of our controller. It is possible if you choose claw on these buttons here, but it is not necessary for this setup, although it would make you faster. Moving on to the build controls, we're going to make sure we set up the circle for sprint auto sprint again, because it doesn't come set up straight out the gate. We're going to make sure we have our edit button set up while on build controls as well, and we have the map set up as well. On edit controls, we're going to make sure that the R1 is on reset. R1 is such a good reset button, it's really easy to press, and if you can select edit and then press R1, it will instantly reset with confirm edit on reset. We're going to once again make sure we have sprint auto sprint bound on our circle, and once again make sure we have our map selected here. Keep it in mind, guys, that the crouch button does not come selected, so make sure you go onto these edit controls and select your crouch button. In terms of the ability controls, it doesn't really matter, do what you want, but I've just set the same things up here. That is all for the PS4 controller, guys. Now on to the things with paddles. Okay, for this example, let's say you have two paddles. The two paddles are located at the bottom of your controller, and we are actually going to use A for jump on one of our paddles, and we are going to use B for switch mode on the other one of the paddles. The order of these don't really matter, you can have them either side, but these are the two most important ones to have as paddles. We're not going to change any of these main buttons, but from now on you are literally only going to have to press the Y and the Z, as the B and the A will be underneath the controller as secondary button. You're going to put L stick for edit, as that is the fastest edit button. I've said it again, I'll say it again after this. It is the fastest edit button. We're going to make sure we bind sprint auto sprint to right on the D-pad, and that is all for combat controls. In terms of build controls, we're going to make sure we bind crouch/slide, as this does not come automatically bound. We're going to make sure we keep switch mode and jump on these. We're going to keep these the same again because paddles will be set to A and B. We're going to once again bind our sprint to right on the D-pad and L stick to edit, and finally the edit controls. We're going to put RB as reset. This is the fastest reset button on controller, especially to confirm edit on and release, and confirm reset and release, which you should be having on for these settings. Finally, we're rebinding sprint auto sprint because it doesn't automatically put it there, and we're going to put crouch again and confirm on L stick. The ability controls doesn't really matter, but make sure you guys have confirm edit and reset on release on. Finally guys, for people with 4 paddles, this is very similar to the 2 paddle one. We're going to keep all these buttons the same, except we're going to put all of these buttons on the bottom of our controller where our paddles are located. If we have 4 paddles like I do, you're going to put Y, X, B and A as them buttons. This is what I do and can take quite a bit of getting used to, but it is the fastest way. Think about it, you never have to let your hand leave this thumbstick right here. We're going to put L stick on edit. Make sure you have confirm edit and reset and release on. We're going to make sure we have crouch on our right thumbstick, and we're going to make sure we have sprint on right on the D-pad. It doesn't matter what order you have these buttons in guys, as long as they are there, all 4 of them. In terms of our build controls, we're going to make sure we do right on the D-pad again. We're going to keep all these the same as they're on the bottom of our controller now, so we don't have to touch them buttons. We're going to make sure we put crouch / slide on right thumbstick, as it doesn't come automatically bind, and we're going to make sure we keep our edit button on L stick. In terms of the edit controls, you're going to have RB, as this is the fastest when using reset on release. You'll be able to reset your builds insanely fast with this, and it is super easy to press. We're going to make sure our sprint button is also bound. We're going to confirm our edits with L stick, and we're going to make sure we bind our slide button crouch / slide. And the ability shouldn't really matter. That is it guys. And if you guys want to learn how to edit faster on controller, click this video right here. It is a banger, trust me. Thank you so much for watching. Go to the description to look at my maps.